the industry is forcing this number across the board. You have a buyer.
Is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt either of you?
It doesn't make sense.
There.
I personally think it's a bullshit organization.
Okay, so the National Association of Realtors lost the lawsuit, right? So they're the governing body. They're the association for all real estate agents, mostly residential real estate agents. And they said, the court said, basically that forcing the selling agent to split the commission with the buying agent is illegal because it's forcing the sellers to actually pay the buyer's agent. So do you think this is just the beginning of no one wanting an agent at all? Real estate agents just being obsolete?
We'll talk about this from two ways. We'll focus on this from my perspective as an attorney. I don't think that's the purpose of that verdict, right? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think you're not wrong in that, but I just think that it's different.
I may have oversimplified.
Yeah. No, it's very simple. Basically, the verdict, what it said is that real estate agents and agencies have been effectively and unlawfully manipulating commissions.
Okay.
Right? What does that mean? Is most people think, okay, my real estate commission is 5 or 6%. That's not a law written in stone anywhere. Why is that this universal number that you find across the board? That's because these larger brokerages, right, stay firm to this number. They don't negotiate the number, and they push this narrative of this number, 5 to 6%. And the court said that, you're basically price fixing, and you can't do that. That's not, that violates sort of free market principles. So,
but there has to be some standard, doesn't there? I mean,
No.
Well, wait a minute.
No.
Real estate agents provide a service. Usually there's a going rate for services. Some people go lower, some people go higher. Isn't that the same thing that the 5 or 6% is? Just a
Yes.
standard.
no.
No, there's no standard.
no.
It's just
Wait, but-
people
but-
do
but
whatever
wait,
they
Waiting
want.
it's what people usually do. You
you're
can go higher or lower.
No, your statement is, in and of itself, conflicts itself.
How so?
So on one hand, you're saying some people provide better service, some people provide worse service. So
I'm
there
not
should
saying better or worse service. I'm saying some people will go lower. Some people will do 3 or 4%. Some people might do 6 or 7%.
It should be
but-
based on who's hungry to get the deal. And
No,
Okay.
but what she's saying is also not the point. So they don't go 3%. People don't do that. For the most part, they stick to 5 to 6%. And you have the big boys in the business staying firm on that.
well, some of the offices require that. Yes.
Yes, that's the whole
Yes,
point.
that's what he means.
There's nothing prohibiting someone from saying 3%. But the whole point is that doesn't happen because these brokerages and the narrative pushed actually by the National Association of Realtors pushes this number across the board, and that's improper. So yes, I agree with you in the sense that free market economy should dictate the price in anything. And this NAR verdict we will always need real estate agents because
Yes.
there's certain things that real estate agents do that nobody else will do, right? The seller's not going to stage their home, organize the photographs, word the listing. The lawyers are not going to do that. There's just certain services that the real estate agent provides. What's going to change in the future is how are real estate agents compensated? And what's going to dictate that is the free market, right? It's either going to get to a point where the free market says, hey, we think you guys are still entitled to a percentage, or they're going to say it's a flat fee. And they're going to start paying people a flat fee to do this service, or they're going to pay the brokerages a flat fee. So real estate agents will always need to exist because someone will need to do the work that agents do, which is market a property. The same way that...
But what about buyer's agents? Because I'll tell you that most people think that they can find their own house nowadays. That they don't need a buyer's agent until they get into it and they say you do.
Well, they don't know how to do the transaction. That's the
No,
problem.
that's true. But buyer's agents will probably hurt the most, right? Because the seller's agent is the one doing the legwork. They're the one organizing the photographs. They're doing the marketing. They're doing the sales. Very realistically speaking, the world of buyer's agents may narrow down. People may still seek a consultant, right, for that. And it's more of a
Which
consultant
might turn into a flat fee.
to let
Right.
them know about, is this a good purchase? Because they have knowledge about the requisite area. They know the values that you may not know.
Or also they just want to feel that they're treated fairly because when you go into the seller's agent, they're working for the seller.
There.
Right. And there's also issues where, there's issues of loyalty
Sure.
that people will always be concerned with, right? So you have no one to really negotiate or put in the offer for you. So sellers agents still offer a service, buyers agents. It's just a matter of how much of that service and what's its value.
And
That's what's going to come.
It also depends on the market. If there's a glutton of houses on the market and you have a buyer's rep and that buyer's rep presents an offer to a seller and says, hey, if you want me to bring this buyer, you have to pay the commission to me. They're going to say yes.
I don't think the market cares
I think
who
it's
pays
crazy.
the commission.
I think all this is crazy and it works
do you
perfectly
feel
the way it
courts
is.
Did?
That's not how I interpreted the case.
Okay.
I think the way it was is that effectively just the manner in which it was structured was the problem, right?
They feel it was forced.
Yeah.
But no one ever, as a brokerage owner, no one ever forced me to do anything. I didn't get a memo from NAR that says you need to charge X percent.
No, but NAR recommends it, right? And
I never got any recommendation saying that.
they should have called you as a witness. But look, I've dealt with brokerages where I try to negotiate the commission and say, no, this is what it is.
That could be their policy of their brokerage.
Yeah,
but there's
and these are
also
large
brokerages out there that
brokerages.
have a more flexible policy.
But the case wasn't universal. It was you're the big boys. You control the market, basically, right? The big companies that you find in every single state, the KWs, the Remaxes, these major brokerages that are they're franchises, right? You're not a franchise brokerage.
No, we're not.
Right? But these franchises have these like regulations, almost these corporate rules. Why is someone paying the same commission in Bumblefuck versus a town that's highly competitive, right? There's no free market.
But okay, so first of all, I think you were just saying that it might be beneficial for the seller's agent to still split.
Yeah, I think it is.
Right.
I think the goal here is to get the transaction done. Nobody makes any money unless the house is sold. So you want to get that done in the simplest and most effective and most transparent way where everybody gets what they want and nobody's getting hurt. And I think that the way we have it now works great and it should stay that way.
So as a brokerage owner, your thoughts on the way things go?
It's all the way things we have now. I think they're perfect. I don't think there's any issues with it. I think the market dictates what's going to happen. You have an agent that literally sells 80% of the market share in a specific town. If they want to charge 5% for you to hire them, that's their job. They can choose not to work for 4%. It's free. It's a free market. I don't see why we're worried about this. I just don't get it.
Again, I think the bigger issue with the case was not necessarily that, but the sort of cross collaboration
Sure.
in the whole industry. I think that they were looking at it as the industry is forcing this number across the board. It's not just a town that guy has a competitive advantage.
We had a brokerage years ago called YHD. They were allowing 3% commissions. It didn't work.
Why did that not work? Because other agencies didn't necessarily want to deal with them, and that's what they found. There was a lot of evidence that said these even buyers brokers, right? They're pushing against it because they want the commissions to stay the same.
But when you have a market like today where there's no houses, if you put the house up for 3%, somebody's going to buy it. So I think it's really based on the market.
There's exceptions to everything.
Yeah.
The whole purpose of that case was this sort of this generalization that's been happening in the industry. And again, there's a service provided, even as an attorney on the transactions. Like, it's not just after the deal's done. The agents, they do a lot. They coordinate with the inspectors, right?
They
do. They do something. And they're entitled to compensation. And everyone will always want that. Most people will want to pay someone for their expertise. The same way you go and you pay an interior designer to design your house, right? You're paying for a service. And I think that will always exist. I don't think the industry is going to end, because these things, the knowledge that they have, you still need someone that's in your corner who can give you that knowledge. And it's not your lawyer, because your lawyer's there to do the contracts and the legal work. He's not there to give you business decisions. And the agents are consultants, really, to their clients.
Right. The agents are also out seeing the product. The lawyers don't go out to see people's houses.
It's like if you're buying art, right? You have a buyer.
Is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt either of you? I mean, you own a brokerage. You do a lot of real estate, and you're a lawyer that does real estate. No. So is this going to hurt either of your businesses?
No.
I don't think I think it will change. If this comes across, it'll change the people that are on my team. Depending on what they're doing, it'll change their strategies. And it may change whether or not they're going to be focused on one area or another. But I think eventually they'll find that comfort level and it'll become stable.
And do you think that the good real estate agents, the ones who are just excellent at what they do, will not represent buyers at all because
I think that
they're going to be getting
every
less?
real estate agent wants to have a deal and make money, and depending on how busy they are, will determine what they do and don't do.
Some of something is better than all of nothing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, to a
That-
degree.
that-
You
that-
still
that
have
just
to hold
answers
your
the question.
standards. You still have to hold your standards. So, like I said, if you control 80% of the market and there's this one guy or one lady that doesn't want to give you your commission, you can choose not to represent them.
But that doesn't. Then my saying doesn't apply, right? Because the saying is some of something is better than all of nothing.
Yes.
Right.
Because then you're not going to have nothing. You have something else.
Yes.
So in a situation where you have to just take less because you have nothing else, so take it. Because some of something is better than all of nothing. So
But-
you can't just all have listings. You need to have buyers too buy those listings.
Yes,
So you
but
just
if
make
everybody
more-
starts doing that, then all of a sudden the price, like if it's the same if we're selling a product, right? So we have a school, if we're selling a product and we just keep lowering the price to be the cheapest person out there, that'll eventually affect our quality because we won't be able to give the same quality for that level.
Well, there have been companies who've made that their business model. They drop prices to take losses, to take out their competition, and they raise prices.
Right.
So that's also a method of doing business.
True.
Right? Where they can keep your quality but knock out your competition, then raise your prices.
But it's a race to the bottom.
Until you put everyone else out of business. So
That I'm not saying that's right, but that is a principle of economics that some
it's a
companies
free, we're
utilize.
a capitalistic society. You can do whatever you want. So
Well, is this the end of the National Association of Realtors then?
I don't think so. I think there's a value there.
I personally think it's a bullshit organization. What do they offer you? Honestly, listen.
So
They're
as
stupid.
I tell students, you have educational value, you have networking value.
ask you a question.
You have lobbying value.
Let me ask you a
That's
question.
my shtick.
Let me ask you a question. You teach a school, right? And you needed a license for New Jersey and a separate license for every state. Why?
Correct.
Why?
Because every state in the union has different real estate
So
rules.
explain to me how you have a national organization giving everyone generic nationwide information when every state has different rules.
Because when you join the National Association of Realtors, you don't actually join the overarching when you do, but you join local chapters.
Okay, so you joined Don National Association of Realtors
Right.
organization, and you paid Don National Association of Realtors organization
It's like
money
it's-
for protection.
It's like a
under their
sorority or a
governance.
How do you know they're
fraternity.
Italian?
You
I
join
don't.
a chapter.
I didn't say it as an Italian way. It's just the Don. You could be El Jefe, whatever you want to be. The
Okay.
point is, you have a national organization that wields immense power
Correct.
when you have over 50 states with different laws. It doesn't make sense. This is not a nationwide thing. When you look on top of a real estate form contract, what does it say? National or New Jersey Association of Realtors?
Good question. New Jersey.
New Jersey.
So what other than paying your VIG to the Godfather do they offer you? Oh, general services,
political
general
action.
information,
Lobbying,
lobbying.
yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly, lobbying.
All right. So the reality is,
You need it
No,
because
you
you
don't.
never know what's coming down the pike.
yeah, they did a real great job for you losing that case.
It's not.
for them.
They're appealing it. You never know what's going to happen.
Good for them.
We'll see what happens.
They
We'll
really,
see
they
what
really did
happens.
you guys a service.
But this is important. This
We
is
get a
important
refund,
to all
please?
of us. This is important
years
to all
back.
of us. We need to know what's going to happen in the realm of real estate and where real estate agents are going.
Listen, do not nationalize general concepts. Keep it to your state. In my opinion, your state organizations will have more value because they will lobby your state. They will lobby your state's laws. These are all governed by state laws, right? For the most part. I think they have far more value than these nationwide organizations that try to speak for everyone because then they cherry pick the jurisdiction. They go litigate in that jurisdiction after they forum shop and they make these decisions that impact the entire country. I think it's stupid.
So
I
you're
think they're
saying
doing
stay
your members a
local.
disservice.
Stay local.
I think you get far more out of it. I think, based off what I'm saying, you get far more for your money.
Each part of the country has different needs. I get it. I still think we do need that national level. Maybe it's not as intense as what we have now.
Create a lobby group, have them be a lobby group, register as a lobby group, and fund them.
Last words on are real estate agents dead? Yes or no?
Never.
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 Never. Never.
Never.
Great.
Will you take pictures of your own house and put it online and market it?
Never.
I
Yes, you
can't even
would.
put things online to sell that I don't want anymore.
No, right?
Right? It's like we can have some Craigslist of houses. Nobody wants to do that shit.
I think commercial will have less effect than residential. I think residential will change a little bit, but I still think we'll have.
There are literally stores where people will drop their crap off and they will sell it for you on eBay. People
Really?
are that undesirous
that.
He
to
goes
sell
every
things online. Like, you think they're going to sell their house? You're not going to sell your 12-year-old bag that's got like ink stains in it. You're going to go to a third-party depot to put it online for you. But somehow everyone's like, oh my God, I'm going to sell my own house now?
Right.
Listen, when people stop putting stuff on OfferUp through third-party companies or eBay, then okay, maybe that world will happen. But until then, we live in a lazy society.
Younger
that
people,
we want to pay
younger
people
people
for
are
service.
doing things themselves these days. So,
Sure, there's always exceptions,
Yeah.
but
So we have your opinion. We want everyone else's opinion. Comment and tell us if they think that real estate agents are dead.
Only reason I would want your opinions is if they coincide.
If they
with
agree
mine.
with his.
Thanks for watching this episode. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and we'll see you next time.